everyone has access to the same 24 hours in a day, right? And then if you go to like working hours, it's 8 and you can maybe stretch yourself to 9 or 10. So it you'll look at these very, very senior engineers, like these senior staff or principal level engineers, and like at the big tech companies where just for reference at the like the top tech companies, the pay bands are quite large. So every promotion is like a huge jump in compensation. Like you'll have the principal engineers making like 5 or 10x what the most junior engineers in the company. And it's not like they somehow created a time turner where they can work like 35, 40-hour days. They have access to the same amount of time the most junior engineer in the company does, but they're able to deliver impact on a much greater scale. So my meta piece of advice, which is what I tell a lot of my mentees, is when you're observing other like engineers, especially those who are more senior than you, because that's one of the more straightforward paths to become more senior, right? You look at someone who's way more senior than you and you just look at what they're doing. But well, more importantly, you should look at how they're doing what they're doing. Because if you just focus on like their impact, which is like the shiny projects they deliver and like, the code that they write, you're going to be losing track of like what makes them senior. Like you should be looking at how they're doing that. And here are just like some of like the questions you can ask yourself when you're observing a very senior engineer to like really truly understand like how they're adding like this very unique type of value to the company. So let's say you see this extremely senior engineer like ship some new product, and it does really well, it takes off, director is very happy, yada yada yada. You just ask them like, how did they come up with the idea for this project, and how did they convince so many people to rally behind them delivering this product? Because if this big fancy product launch, it's not very likely they coded it out entirely on their own. That's just not humanly possible. They probably built a team around it. How did they build the team around it? How did they make the team excited to work behind this product? Why did they choose this particular product idea over all the other ones? Because when you go to any like top tech company, you're going to have so many amazing ideas in the room. Like the problem will be, okay, how do we increase this metric by 50%? You're going to have like 50 ideas to increase that metric by some amount of percent, like what they think will be 50%. How do you choose the right one? How did this very senior engineer choose the right one? And another question you can ask is, how did they figure out exactly what to build? Because generally what happens is when you come up with an idea, it's just a sentence or two, right? That's what an idea is. But how do they convert this idea into like, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of lines of code that actually makes up the ship product they came up with at the end, right? Like how do they clear up all this ambiguity and take this like super giant hazy thing into an actual product?